Ready?
Let's go.
Testing, 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 testing. Microphone testing. Ready?
I was rolling.
Okay.
Ready.
Hey guys, welcome back to another a beer making video. Today we're gonna make basically brewing this Irish Stout kit from More Beer. This is gonna be a fun brew day. St. Patrick's Day is coming up in a couple weeks, and so I have just enough time to brew a Irish Stout, a Guinness clone. We're heating up the mash water right now. Something's smoking. Hopefully that burns off. Wow, that's really smoking. Well, that'll burn off. Yeah, let's go over what's in this recipe. This is an interesting beer kit from More Beer. This is a partial mash kit. So I'm going to be mashing in with about 5 pounds of grain, and then supplementing with some DME to get the gravity up. Here's all the ingredients for our kit today. Yeah, 3 pounds of Maris Otter, a pound of roasted barley, and a pound of flaked barley. Hopefully that is enough to get us going, and then we'll raise the OG with some more DME. I'm gonna go over some water salts in a second here, and we'll get into it. Oh, never mind about it. Oh God, you spilled it everywhere.
I spilled something?
Yeah, you put it in upside down in the spice rack.
Bro, you were the one rifling through the spice rack 2 days ago.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. Nuh-uh. You want to measure me or film? Oh God, that was way too much. Dump. Start over. All right, I have water salts here ready to go. These are gonna go in the mash. Doing a 2.5 gallon mash, so about half of my brewing water. Recreating the Dublin water profile in More Beer, similar to the water in Dublin, because this is a Guinness clone. So we'll get the water to be close to Dublin. So it's a lot of chalk and a little bit of everything else to get a really high HCO. What is that?
Hydrochloric oxygen.
Whatever that is. We're also actually, and we're gonna put in some lactic acid here in the mash to counteract a little bit of a pH rise from the dark grains. Since we're using the roasted barley, we want to counteract some of that pH rise, so we're going to throw in a 2 milliliters of lactic acid into the mash so that we have a solid mash pH, because this is a partial mash, so we do need conversion on these grains. So I'll do that now. So going in with 2 milliliters of lactic acid, try to bring that mash pH back down to, I think 5.4 is what I'm going for. Anything below 5.6 is probably fine. All right, you want to come? We can reshoot that part. All right, so we've reached our mash in temperature of 153 here, and I'm going to mash in with all my grains. Should go smoothly. These come pre-milled from More Beer, and it's actually the first time I'm getting to use Maris Otter in any kit I've brewed. Should really classic British beer flavor should be brought by that Maris Otter. It's a really classic British grain, and definitely an important part to any well, I guess this is Irish, but any British beer. So mashing in, trying to make sure there's no dough balls. Shouldn't be a huge problem, as this is pretty liquidy mash. in our beer here. And back, lastly, in with the roasted barley. That's going to give us the color here and make this the classic stout color. So, I'm going to stir here. It's going to be a 30-minute mash. Hopefully, we'll check gravity at the end of this, and we'll go from there.
Why do we want to 153?
So the enzymes in the mash function best at like around 150 degrees to get things to start converting, or I think it's less than that. It's like 145 or something like that. But once you start coming over like 145, you're actually creating some more complex sugars. You're cooking the grains a little bit more. That just leads to a little bit more residual sweetness. Basically, you're creating unfermentable sugars. What was that? You're creating unfermentable sugars in your mash that will not be converted by the yeast in the end of things. That you'll end up in your final glass, and you'll have a little bit of sweeter taste. Guinness is pretty dry, but I think it has to do with the dark grains. Is why we're up a little bit above 150. So, anyways, we've reached mash in temperature, so the mash begins for real now. So I'll set a 30-minute timer, and we'll be back to this. Okay, so we are at the end of the mash here. Temperature stayed pretty consistent, so that was good. Happy about that. Now time to yank these grains out. This is going to be 5 pounds of grain, and it's probably going to take a good long while to drain all the sugars out of these. So I'm going to be standing here for a while holding this grain bag, which will be fun. But all that good sugar... Oh, shoot. I went too fast. All that good sugar we can get back out of these grains, and then we'll bring up to a boil after this. So I'm going to be standing here for quite a few minutes draining this grain, so catch you in a few. It's so hot, and it's so heavy. Ow! There's an old kind of wisdom knowledge that says you shouldn't squeeze the grain bag because you're going to extract tannins. From everything I've heard, that is BS, and you can get all the sugars you can out of these grains because they've been spent, and you want to use all that sugar. So I am squeezing the heck out of this grain bag to get all that sugar out because I don't want to waste any grain. So just some classic homebrew discussion fights to be had over that. Alright, so we've reached just about a boil. It's not quite there, but it's going to be there in about 30 seconds here. So I'm going to add in my DME. I'm going in with 5 pounds of this. And we'll bring this... It's going to probably drop the temp just a little bit. We'll come back up to a boil, and we can start doing hop additions. I'm planning to do a 30-minute boil on this, just because I don't see any need to boil for 60. And should be good there. Magnum.
Where's this step then?
Yeah, so we're waiting for this to come back up to a boil. I'm going to monitor this because it is a really sugary wort. This is, basically doubly concentrated from our final wort, so it's very sugary. Boil over is a definite risk here. So I'm going to be monitoring this and making sure it doesn't boil over on us while we get to a boil, and then I will be back with hop additions.
Boil.
On my shirt. All right, going in with our first hop addition. We've just reached a boil, just barely, but it'll get there as time passes. Going in with a full ounce of Magnum. I'm gonna do a 30-minute boil. I think the recipe calls for 60, but I don't have all day. So going in with our Magnum edition. I'm gonna be watching this like a hawk for a few minutes here. Make sure we don't boil over. So that is that. We'll catch you. I think I'm gonna do, that's all the hop additions in the recipe. I just happen to have another ounce of EKG, East Kent Goldings, on hand. I figure I'm gonna add it just because I have extra hops to get rid of, and who doesn't want more hops in their craft beer? That's why we do this. So I'm gonna add that at probably 10 minutes, so I'll catch you then. Note about hops. So we're using Magnum here. Magnum is a classic bittering hop. It is very high alpha. This is 12%, which is actually kind of low, I think, for Magnum. But, you know, Guinness isn't necessarily a hoppy beer, but, you know, we need hops to make beer. And just, we'll see how this all ends up. I might actually leave this a little less diluted to make it kind of like a Guinness extra strength or whatever their export brew is called. We might, so we'll actually see at the end of the brew day here. I can decide whether this is going to be a Guinness or a Guinness Extra, effectively. And Guinness Extra would have a little bit extra hops, and since I have them, I might as well. So we'll see. So my stove decided to turn off here, so it's, well, there goes my thermometer. It's not a very active boil at the moment, but we'll assume we're close enough. So we're going in with our 10-minute hop addition of EKG. That's good. I also need to put in the Whirlflock tablet, just so we don't get a hazy beer. That's not what we want out of our Guinness. So that's our Whirlflock going in. And some yeast nutrient, half a teaspoon per 5 gallons. I'm just gonna eyeball this because yeast nutrient's always good. So half a teaspoon. All right, so there's all that. And then I need to rinse off and chuck in my wort chiller. So let me just give it a rinse, make sure. I just keep this out, so I never know if there's anything on it. I always just give it a quick rinse before I put it into my nearly finished beer here, my nearly finished wort, rather. So rinse that off. And this will go in just for sanitization reasons here. So we are very close. Let me get my thermometer out here. We are very close to done with the wort process here. 10 more minutes, we'll be done. We'll start cooling, and I will catch you then. All right, so my timer just wrapped for the end of the boil here, so we can start chilling. I've got my sink set up all ready to go here, so I'm going to take this off the stove. Take it down here with water. I could have prepped this before. Should be pretty quick to chill. It's winter here, and the groundwater is freaking cold, so hopefully it doesn't take us too long here. Again. I might need 2 hands here. Cameraman, you might have to help me. Hold that in place there. Oh, and I'm leaking a little. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. All right. All right. All right, so we are cooling. This is gonna, I might have to put the camera down so we can get this in a more permanent position, but we are cooling down the wort here. I wish I had a brewing pump. Yeah. So we are cooled mostly down. I'm below hop isomerization, I think is the word, temps. But I got places to be. So we're gonna, this is down to like 120. I'm gonna chuck it in the keg here. This is my clean, sanitized keg. We're gonna ferment this in the keg like I do with everything. I'm actually probably not gonna ferment this really under pressure, like 1 psi, just to have something on the spawning valve. But you know, we want this to be pretty much at room temp. So anyways, I'm procrastinating because this is my least favorite part of the brew day here. So let's see how the transfer goes today. Oh, pretty good. And I'm gonna leave some of the trub here in the bottom of the tin, but we'll see how much we can or cannot leave today. It looks like it was pretty mixed up, so I'm gonna pour most of that in. so be it. All right, so a little bit of hop debris left in the kettle there. Cool, so we're in with that. I'm gonna pour in the rest of my, oh, actually, I need to get in. So these are the rest of the water salts. So I put the stuff in the mash, and then I'm diluting down back with spring, so I'll rinse that out. So I'm putting those in now to get all of my water salts. I'm gonna rinse this out quickly. This isn't sanitized, but it'll probably be okay. I should have thought of that. That's okay. I could have chucked these in the last 2 minutes of the boil, but I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. All right, there's that. And then this spring water that was opened right before we started, so I'm not worried about that being contaminated. So I'm gonna pour in, I started with 2 gallons of water in, or 2.5 in my mash. I lost some to the grains, but then I added some with the DME. So I'm not sure what the math's gonna add up here. I'm gonna go in with all of this, and then we'll take I'll aerate the wort, mix it up real good, and then we'll measure what our OG is looking like. And I guess that's when we'll have decided if we made Guinness Extra or Guinness Regular, because I'm not doing the math before I pour the water in, so. This is looking pretty good. Pretty much the volumes I'm comfortable with in the keg here. I don't remember, if you remember in my wheat video, I way overfilled the keg, and that was a nightmare, so don't do that. Anyway, so I'm gonna aerate the wort here, sanitizer, lid in the sanitizer, everything happy there. And I'm gonna shake the heck out of this keg for about 60 seconds. Maybe I can speed this up and it'll be look really funny in a time lapse. Oh, it's so heavy. Put that down for a second. I didn't spill anything when I transferred.
That's crazy.
That was a good transfer. All right. I got probably another 60 seconds of mixing. All right. That is sufficiently mixed. I'm sufficiently dead. This is a new tool to me. Well, it's not a new tool or anything, but it's a turkey baster. Oh, I got the cleaning brush in there. I'm gonna sanitize this, and that's how I'm gonna pull the wort out of the keg to get my OG sample. I had thought about this part of my process for forever, and I couldn't figure out, like, what's a good way to get the beer out of the keg. You know, I don't wanna, anyways, turkey baster. And this is stainless. I'm gonna sanitize it well. Make sure we're all, I'm not gonna pour this, so I'm gonna go into here, my hydrometer here. I'm not gonna pour this back into the beer, so I'm not worried about this being sanitized. That's just a loss I can comfortably take. And I'll probably just add this back with the yeast pitch anyways. So I'm gonna put this lid somewhere safe. Good, all right. This is sanitized, well, one more dip for insurance. All right, and we'll fill here. I think it's like at 160.
What does that mean?
160, let's see what I wanted the OG to be. I wanted it to be, I can come up here. Let's see, I was aiming for, you know, actually no, I was aiming for 159, 1.059, there we go, I can say numbers. And we'll let this settle out, but it's, my guesstimate's probably right around there, so that's actually awesome. So, it's been a few hours. I let the wort cool back down to room temp. Pretty close. I have my OG measurement here. It's reading 0.063. So I guess it's Guinness Extra Strength for us, which is fine by me. So I'll update that in the recipe in the Brewfather link. You want to get in there? I'm gonna pitch. I have a yeast slurry from a previous beer. This is USO4. This is the yeast slurry at the bottom of the keg. I fridged that. I just took that out this morning, so that's pretty fresh. Those yeast are pretty much fully ready to go. Hopefully that works. And if it doesn't work out, I have a dry yeast packet if all else fails. I'm also going to chuck in a dropper full of ALDC, diacetyl enzyme, just as a cheap insurance not to get any diacetyl. And I'll pitch this here. USO4, I have no idea how many cells or anything, but I'll just keep an eye on the airlock, and hopefully there's good motion. And if not, I'll pitch the dry yeast packet, and it'll be okay. So there's that, and I have sanitizer here. Sanitize my lid. And I'm going to ferment this at pretty much room temperature, 70-ish degrees, 68, 70 degrees. And throw it at, 1 or 2 psi on the spunning valve just so that I can ferment in the keg. And hopefully it's done in like 10 days so that we can drink this for St. Patrick's Day. Hey guys, we're back. Here is the final product, the extra strength Guinness, you could call it that. I don't know if I can stick to that title anymore. This is not my first time tasting the beer. We'll do a taste here. As you can see, it is a really pitch black, tan head. Not the white head that Guinness has necessarily, but I think it is a very appetizing looking beer. And this is it's a great. We'll go in for a taste. Not splitting the G today. It is really fantastic. This came out great. As I've said, we've had this. I've had this on the keg for probably a month now, so it is well conditioned. I had lots of friends try it, and everybody seems to love this. It's a bit boozy. It's like 6.5%. There's definitely a booze note on it, but it's not off-putting at all. Everybody says roasty. The smell is roasty, very roasty, roastier than Guinness, admittedly, but not smoky, not like not like a smoked beer, like just a very roast, dark character. Tastes delicious, strong. It is a freaking, it's a great beer. I don't know if I could call it a Guinness extra clone. It's not quite quite tastes like that, but it's the thing of its own, and it's very delicious. Chocolate, a rich, thick mouthfeel, surprisingly without too much attention paid to mouthfeel in the mash. It's a great beer. So anyways, hope you try it. It turned out great for me, and we'll catch you in the next one. Okay.